Well, boys, thanks for joining us.
It's okay.
HMV Carlisle, eh?
Thanks for having us on.
How long have you both worked at the Carlisle branch?
Carlisle, I've been there for almost 5 years.
Right. What about you?
I've been there, I was a temp last Christmas, and then I've been there since June, so
Right.
a little under a year.
Ah.
Something like that,
Best
about 8
temp we
months.
ever had.
There we go.
So I was the initial reason I wanted to have you on was because of all you're always doing cool stuff to integrate with like local bands and like galvanise the local scene. But have you noticed before that? Obviously, I want to get to that. But before that, like constantly in the news, there's always brands, high street brands shutting down, cutting stores back. Does that worry you at all?
Of course it worries you, but you just got to keep on going.
Yeah.
With what you're doing, you know. It's if everybody's always saying to me, "What are you worried about the future of
Pull the mic
HMV?"
towards you a bit.
Everyone's always saying, you're worried about the future of HMV, but people
Yeah.
have been saying that for the last 5 years, and we're still going.
Yeah. Is it the last sort of brand, the other music shop that's still out there? Is there
Yeah, other than independents. Obviously,
Yeah.
we have FOP, but that's part of HMV.
Right. Yeah. So because everyone loves HMV, but I hope people I don't go as much as I used to. I've always said I always prefer physical products, but it's just for me, it's just convenience. Like I have to go to Carlisle if I wanted to do that.
And the amount of music that's out there,
Yeah.
it's like...
And I can't beat like the convenience of if an album comes out, I'll just go to Spotify and it's there.
Well, we expect to see you in HMV every day now on the back of that.
Do you know? I think that's the general consensus, but there is still enough people who still like to go in and look and browse. And I mean, what do you sell the most of these days? Is it music?
It's still DVD and Blu-ray.
Right.
Like people
That's
think
what I
obviously
think
that's
of.
dropped off, but it still
Yeah.
is.
When I think of HMV now, I don't think of music. I think of DVD and Blu-ray. But even that's transgressed to like now I just watch Netflix and Amazon. And I feel kind of bad about that, but it's just the way it's going.
It's easy, isn't it? Everybody's more
Yeah.
after something that's easy these days, so that's why obviously a lot of people do look towards Netflix.
I just hope there's enough people who like collecting stuff. Like
Yeah, definitely.
why vinyl's never gone away.
Yeah.
I hope that's part of it because, I mean, the DVD, the Blu-ray collection is massive in there now. Isn't it? You just go in and you go, wow.
You're never going to lose the people who want to hold something in their hand.
Yeah.
Physical product's always going to be there, and it's still, now vinyl is making a resurgence. People still want that in their hand as well.
Yeah, vinyl's never really gone away, has it? It's sort of come back. It went away, but not quite.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of worked its way back.
Yeah.
A lot more bands are putting stuff out on vinyl. Like modern bands are putting new stuff out on vinyl rather than bands reissuing old stuff, which is quite good to see, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
And you're getting all
That's
the
prominent as well, though.
Yeah, true.
You're getting all the older folk now who are saying, "Oh, I've got loads of vinyl in my loft. I'm getting it back down."
Yeah, that's true. And obviously there was a lot of people who sold stupidly,
Yeah.
but they didn't know. Sold their collection
Yeah.
when CDs came
Or
in.
there's the folk who always come in who are saying, you'd never guess, I threw all mine in the tip years ago, and I'm like...
In the tip, that's even worse. Fair enough. It's bad enough if you sold it to someone
Yeah.
for next to nothing, but to just throw it away. And you think, probably what was in that collection that they threw away. You think, Jesus. But I don't know.
And that Beatles Abbey Road in it.
Yeah,
in the
original
bin.
pressing.
Throwing it in the
Just
bin, yeah.
gone. Do you get people coming in, ordering stuff? Can you get me this in? Because I used to do that quite a lot.
Yeah, we still do.
Yeah. There's always people coming and say, have you got this? Have you got this? No, we can order it for you. Yeah. That's fine. We'll do that.
I always found that a valuable service. Before the internet was like the main place to go to, I would always go to HMV or somewhere and just go,
Yeah.
And
I want this, and this.
And I think people still want to order in shops because obviously then you got somebody to deal with as well. Your order's
Yeah,
delayed,
that's
you
true.
can chat about your music, make sure you got the right bit to order in. So
Yeah.
you're always going to have that face-to-face, service out to you.
And I think with HMV closing some stores but keeping some, I think that's probably what was needed because I'm hoping that they'll always be there because there'll always be that amount, that right amount of demand. Even if most people are going digital and streaming, I think there'll hopefully be a hardcore percentage of people, even younger people coming through, who will appreciate it.
If you come back in and start shopping every day.
Exactly, if everybody does.
Yeah, everybody does. That's what we need. But I mean, there's always about brand loyalty. HMV is a massive brand, so I believe a lot
It
of
is.
people are loyal to the brand. It's almost been 100 years old now. So,
Yeah.
and you've got the collectors who are in now. We have a lot of collectors editions of stuff. Different like Arrow, don't we, Dom?
Yeah, there's all those kind of things. Criterion, Blu-ray, and all those.
Blu-ray's a
Well,
big
yeah.
one now.
When I listened to your thing with Matt and Andrew, they were speaking about that as well, like the Arrow and like 88 films, that kind of thing, where niche and
It's true.
very, very
I suppose
not very not good films with reputations of like Oscar worthy.
Yeah.
But
some have a cult following, don't they?
Cult
And if a limited edition comes out on Blu-ray or something, people won't get it. Or anybody, if there's a really good film that they love, well, if it's going to come out on Blu-ray, chances are they'll pre-order it.
Yeah, definitely.
Go and get it. Which I think that'll always be there. Because even on streaming, they don't put the extras on the streaming services. They just put the actual film. Sometimes it's not even like the best, like a director's cut out there. Or I've seen ones where it's got the extended scenes in the film. They've put the extended or the deleted scenes back in the film, so you can watch it with them in how it was originally
the
intended.
director's cut and all that. Yeah, definitely.
And you don't get that on streaming services.
No.
Do you watch streaming services?
I only have Netflix myself. I still prefer to have physical media all the time, because I think if I stream, I'm putting myself out of a job as well. But I still prefer. Like, you should see my CD Blu-ray collection. You know. Yeah. But I'll always be the same. People might call me a dinosaur, but I'm always going to have it like that.
I wonder if it will become a generational thing. As we get older, we'll be the last generation who remembers it before digital and has accepted digital as it's come in.
No, because you have hipsters now, don't you? And they're all into their vinyl as well. So you got all these lads coming in and all these girls coming in. They're well into all of that now as well. You seem to have an older generation, then you have no middle ground, and then a younger generation coming through into them. You know what I mean?
It's true. Yeah. I just wonder how many people just grow up and all they'll know is like a Spotify button and a Netflix button. Like, let's go to a shop and buy something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will. What about you for your streaming and that?
Well, we've got a Netflix subscription, but I find it a massive, massive pain in the arse. The way their search engine
it's
works,
not very well designed.
It's horrible, and you're overfaced.
There's almost too much stuff.
And then I don't want to choose anything. I'm like, oh, well, I'll watch Antiques Road Trip instead.
Yeah, I find
like the old man I am.
Unless I actually know what I'm searching for. Sometimes I can spend so long trying to find something to watch that I haven't got time now. Yeah. Whereas back in the day when I used to go into HMV, I used to enjoy the search for something that I might be looking for that, but I found that.
Look for a hidden treasure.
Whether it be in the music or in the videos or whatever. Because I remember back in the day videos. I remember when DVDs first came in and they were on like a tiny little section.
I was saying to Dom earlier, when I first started, I was in charge of the 4 for 20 video section, one of it, and then...
videos.
So none of them would know what they are anymore.
No.
You were saying about knowing about the Netflix button.
Yeah, they wouldn't even...
Video,
like, the concept would be like, if you give them a cassette tape, it'd be like... Or a videotape, it'd be like... Where's the on
Pressing
button?
The button
where does the batteries go?
How do I turn it off?
No one will ever know the pencil trick of like...
No, some tape winding it up. No.
How old are you both?
Me, I'm 34.
I'm 26. So right. I'm on the cusp of VHS. Yeah,
because some people growing up now, like young and like say 18 now. So if someone was born in 2002, they probably won't remember. They won't remember CDs, really. I would imagine, because
they won't remember life. No, I get what you mean. Yeah, a lot of them, they've never really grown up. Every time they've had streaming their whole life, and they've had some sort of tablet their whole life. So
and they'll have grown up with the internet. It'll be there as long as they can remember.
I had years where my mum and dad, we didn't have the internet until I was about 13, 14. We never really had it, and I'm all the better for that.
I can't really remember what it was like beforehand, to be honest.
I know, it's strange, isn't it?
I remember a lot of stupid arguments about stuff that, like, if you had a Google, it could have just ended the argument then and there. Yeah. But it just went on for ages. But I don't know. I don't know if it... Do you think people are growing up different now that they have everything at their fingertips?
Yeah, of course they are. It's completely different.
But I also think they've got a lot more to contend with. Good and bad.
It is. I think the bad outweighs the good. I think the immediacy of everything is building, because we're seeing a lot more anxiety in the current society, and I think it's because of that immediacy. It's like we have no time to process and no time to gather ourselves and think about something. It's like there, and it's constant.
Are you saying it's taken away your social skills, Dom?
No, nothing like that, because beer always helps with those.
Funnily enough, I saw an advert for Audible yesterday, which I'd never seen before, on TV.
Right.
It was a woman getting in from work, and then she had a phone in her hand, and then it started popping up with like a Facebook notification, then an Instagram, then she was scrolling, then an email came in, and all this stuff was going on under. Then she swiped all that away, and there was the Audible, and she just hit play, and then someone started reading a story, and I kind of like, I like that concept, because everyone's doing that all the time now, aren't they? Everyone's just, you're on your phone and like scrolling pointlessly, just like. not actually doing anything
No.
when you could be doing so much more. And I think that's what young people are growing up with now.
It's what they're used to, though. It's like with the difference between, say, me and you is we know the difference. Like we didn't always grow up doing that, but now you think everybody grows up. That's all they know. So to them, it isn't.
But I'm saying we're the last people who can remember what it was like beforehand.
You're saying we're dinosaurs.
We've experienced both.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll be the only generation who will have had that.
The perfect generation, because we've seen both of it.
Yeah.
We can judge it.
We can sort of remember what it was like as an outsider.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Kind of. I don't like it. To be honest.
No, we're the generation that feels it the worst because we're stuck between dimensions.
Yeah, I was out with some friends at the weekend, and I was saying to them, like, when we were at the pub, and I think I pulled my phone out once, but that was just to check my emails. I've pretty much eliminated scrolling pointlessly. Like, I haven't posted on social media since today for like 3 weeks. I've not been on. I've not checked my notifications. I've managed, slowly started weaning myself down. Like, when I've been going out, I've been putting my phone on silent. I've been turning my notifications off and then turning them back on when I get home. Now, I don't bother. Unless I've got something to do.
Right.
I try just to just ignore it.
It's hard to do. It's like a habit.
It is hard to
like
do.
An addiction. Because I'm always watching a movie with my missus, and she's like, "Get off your phone. You're always on your
That's the
phone."
thing.
And I don't even know I am.
Watching a film with someone and they're on their phone. It's like, well, are we watching or?
But I'm normally on IMDb, so I'm normally trying to read.
Yeah, sometimes I'll pause it to like look something up.
Yeah,
which I think is perfectly what the internet's for, looking stuff up, learning stuff. But if someone's just on their phone and like they went to do something, but they've ended up just going, you can see the reflection on their face, just going
playing Candy Crush,
or just
Facebook,
or just their social media stream just going up and up and up, and you just think, stop.
See, at least when I'm doing it, I'm on IMDb and I'm like, I know that actor from something.
INBB.
Have a look.
Yeah, that's the one.
Not DB.
Oh yeah, it's DB.
That's what I said.
I thought you said BB. I was like, that's a new one that I don't know.
That's his own app.
Yeah, that's mine.
So as well as like selling stuff, you guys, who is the brains behind all these things that you do to try and interact with bands?
First, what they said to us was we're allowed to have local bands come back into the shops again, but it's all the whole onus is on us to try and contact them and get them back in and give them that platform to still perform on.
Right.
So it's me and myself and my team that we push everything, do all the posters, and we do all our social media, just asking for people to come in and talk to us.
Do you have to get clearance from up above to do like most of the stuff?
We have to do the usual. You have to do your risk assessment, and you have to put in an application. They like to do the poster, and obviously you need to let them know who's coming in, and you need to make sure you know that you've got space and people are available to do it. But mainly, it's just the onus on us to get them into the shop.
So has this always been happening, or is this a fairly recent thing?
It happened about 5 years ago, and then they stopped.
Pretty much when you started.
No, about thing. Then they stopped doing it, and then it's kind of come back again in the last year since we've been bought by Sunrise Records.
Right.
They brought it all back.
So
in
a lot of these things just been off your own head.
Yeah, we made that, and
Right.
I got onto my head office, and we made this Battle of the Bands one there.
So what is the idea behind Battle of the Bands in this case?
Just to get all the local bands, to get them to Harrowby Community Centre and get them playing a Battle of the Bands, show what they can do.
What would the winner get?
Winner, we're planning on giving them probably half of the door for the day. So far, that's the idea of it.
Right.
And obviously, everybody who enters, they get a slip where they can vote with their slip.
Right.
And then, so obviously, the judges are just the people there on the day. I thought that'd probably be the fairest way to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's true.
And then it's up for the bands. The more people they bring with them,
yeah,
you know what I mean, the more chance they've got. And
how big's the venue?
You can fit 300 people. It's a Harrowby Theatre, so
like
it's pretty big,
Brickyard.
and there's a licensed bar there and everything like that. And we're going to try and have have loads of different food stalls, make it like a little mini festival for the day.
Cool. So have you just announced that today?
Well, we've announced it the other day, but this is the one I've announced it with HMV in the store today because they've done their own poster for it. So we still need bands to apply for it.
Right.
It's not till July.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of applications, but we still want about 10 bands for the day.
Cool. Well, this is going out tomorrow, so I'll do it
get
out on
them in.
socials as well. Yeah.
So I'll be swamped tomorrow then. That's the plan.
But no, it's a good idea. So
no, it's good.
What are some of your most successful ideas?
We did National Album Day last year. We had the band Two Fish play, and we had the band Indie Street Club play. You must have seen them around town. One of them. So I just put out on our Twitter that we wanted bands for the day, and them two got in touch, and we set them both up. The News and Star came in for the day. You might have seen we had the article and paper. So
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
A lot of it's just going out of our way to get them. Like we've just announced today, Lovely Eggs are doing a thing.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And that was just on the bat that I messaged them. I just got in touch with them and said, "Do you want to come and do a signing in the shop?" And then she was like, "Yeah, that's fine."
That's a good idea. Yeah.
And that's it.
So you sometimes just sit down and go, right, what can we do?
Yeah, exactly.
What ideas can we come up with to try and include or encourage local
a lot of it,
scene?
you got to put a bit more effort into it. Like I spend a lot of my own time, trying to approach and doing a lot on social media. Same as Dom does a lot with the Twitter, but we do a lot of it. You put your passion into it, don't you?
Oh yeah.
So have you looked at what other HMVs have done? Have you?
Yeah, a lot of them have done it. A lot have done the good stuff, but I like to think we do more.
Yeah.
No, I like to
You're
think.
always doing. There's always something
I
going
like to
on.
think in Cumbria, it's like one of the best places. I've worked and lived in loads of different areas, and I'd see Cumbria as the best talent that I've seen for local music.
Where else have you been?
You're
not from around here?
Well, I'm from the Midlands.
Right. Okay. Thought I
From my
detected a bit
slight kind of
there.
Midland accent. But no, I was in High Wycombe before. I was in Carlisle, and then I've been in. Lived in Cardiff as well. Worked there as well, and then quite a few stores around the Midlands. So.
Right.
So I like to think I have quite a good gauge of it.
Did they do a lot of? Obviously, you do well on like selling games and video games and stuff like that as
we
well.
don't really sell any games anymore.
Do you not anymore?
Do it at Christmas. We do FIFA.
Right.
Stuff like
Okay.
that.
Because I used to at one point that was a place to also get video games as well, and consoles.
When you went in, they probably were doing N64 games.
It wasn't that long ago. It was a few years ago. But
Games are going down the streaming and digital path these
yeah,
days
that's
as
true.
well.
Yeah. Same with most things. Yeah, it's interesting because some companies that have retailers that have closed their high streets have just gone online.
Yeah.
So was it Zavvi? That was one. I remember there was a Zavvi
Yeah,
in
they used
Carlisle,
to
wasn't
be.
there? Yeah,
That was before my time here, but there was obviously used to be a
'cause
chain.
they took over the Virgin
Yeah, that
store.
was it. Yeah.
Did Virgin close and become and morph into Zavvi?
Virgin
can't
Virgin
remember.
closed becomes Zavvi, and then they both shut. Woolworths and Zavvi shut the same Christmas,
Right.
and we were swamped. I
And
remember
then
that
obviously-
Christmas was insane. For
That's
that
what I was
Christmas.
thinking. With the more and more things closing, I seem to think that as it's going to level out a certain level where you'll be fine.
Survival,
like,
survival
pushing-
of the fittest.
Yeah. Well, like you'll be the only one, but you'll be the only one that people need. You'll be just there when people need it, and as and when. I think.
And it's good to have competition.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
You've got to have competition. It keeps prices healthy. It keeps, you know what I mean, keeps everything interesting. So
Yeah. How many staff are working at yours? What?
6.
6.
So we we're a tight team. We're
Yeah,
a good
good
team.
team.
Yeah, we're a good
Yeah.
team. We're a tight team.
Mm. So have you found since you've been there has footfall declined at all that you've noticed?
It's
or?
declined everywhere. You try and
Yeah.
tell me.
Oh, yeah,
try and tell me a place
definitely.
that hasn't, but
Yeah.
it's. Well, the store's still there, so it's still staying
Yeah.
profitable. You
Yeah.
know, so that's why it's still there. But it's obviously, times are tough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say obviously nowhere as busy as it was, but then
I think that because you guys use your social media quite well, and I think that's part of your ability is to use that to not just for bands and stuff like that, but to encourage people like deals and stuff to encourage people to come in the store. Because I think what else can stores do to compete with the internet? You know,
Well, we don't just do it for ourselves. It is also to give these local bands a platform to have as well.
definitely.
You know, we want to get. It helps. It gets HMV on the tip of everyone's tongue, but it also gives them a chance to sell their music in
Yeah.
store. You know.
yeah, that's the thing that I'm gutted that we never got to do. Is like, what do bands have to do if they want to get their music in your shop?
Come and see me.
Okay,
Give me a link to their music.
Right,
Let me
okay.
listen to
So
it.
it's as simple as that. I
Yeah,
didn't
and
feel there was
then,
certain criteria that.
No, they get sent. Obviously, they get sent. There's an application that says what they have to do, and they get a contract that they have to sign and agree what price they want to sell it for.
Right.
Because obviously, some of it gets taken by HMV, so
Yeah.
they have to agree to all of that.
Oh, that's fair enough. For some reason, I thought it was like quite difficult to do that. But
It's easier than
through
it
all the
thinks, but
yeah.
I don't know if the person in the legal department at HMV would say the same, because he obviously deals with it all. But for
Yeah.
us, it's fairly they do an application, we listen
Yeah.
to their music, we send it off.
Yeah. Cool. So have you got like space?
Yeah,
where you
we've got a section which is called our live and local, which is just all for the local bands in there.
Right.
I'll tweet you a photo of it.
Do it. Yeah. That's cool.
Not now, because I don't want to be on my phone, obviously. During it, but.
Because the other thing I always used to buy in HMV was T-shirts.
Yeah, still plenty of T-shirts.
Yeah, people always had a good range of. Sometimes it would be T-shirts. Well, I've not seen that one before.
You can say people won't get like a lot of stuff, but they'll always want a T-shirt.
Yeah, and looking at the posters as well.
Yeah, posters
Yeah.
good.
Posters.
Pop
They might
pop
not
vinyl.
listen to the music, but they'll like the T-shirt.
That's
yeah,
true.
Exactly. They've never heard Ramones in their life, but they wear a T-shirt of Ramones or Johnny Cash or something.
Oh, it's too true.
So do you get like a sort of a rush when there's a big release coming out, whether it be a TV series or a film or a game or
like Game of Thrones, for instance, the last series at Christmas. That was our Christmas.
Next week will be interesting with Joker being released.
Oh yeah.
And obviously he's got his award now. He's got his BAFTA.
Oh, yeah, he
and
did.
probably going to get his Oscar,
Yeah.
unless his speech at the BAFTAs has null and voided his Oscar.
Because they were saying on the cinema guys were saying that the film will come out for like 2 weeks and no one will come and see it.
Yeah,
then someone would win an Oscar, and then suddenly it's only got 2 days left. Where have you been?
Yeah. It's just how people work, and there's the trend, the trending aspect,
ignorance
isn't it?
is bliss.
Yeah, it is about trends, isn't it?
Like you were saying, younger generation went into physical music. As soon as vinyl became cool again, everyone's into it again.
True.
You know, and so they should be, because it is great to listen to a vinyl. You know,
well,
or a record.
Well, just a tangible thing. You can appreciate the artwork. You can liner notes, because even in a CD they're tiny, so small. It's like, what's the point? But
can people come in and listen? Do you have a
not
listening
really
station?
anymore, but then again, at least that's a good bit where you can listen to some music on YouTube and then decide.
Yeah,
to
I was
buy
just
it.
thinking,
At
if you
least
don't
got
have one, that obviously means that people just don't do that anymore.
No, we used to have it, but there's a lot of opening up CDs, listening.
You get a lot of time wasters.
We used to, yeah. Yeah, we used to have, because we used to let people listen to vinyl in store and records and everything. They used to have to borrow the needle and go put it on.
Because I remember sometimes I'd be like looking through all the DVDs and I'd see someone and then I'd forget about it. Then I'd see them 10 minutes later and I go, they've been here ages, and I'm going, so have I though.
Yeah, exactly. I'll still, if somebody has to listen to a CD, I just put it on the main player for them.
Yeah,
just,
that'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
Give them the full experience then.
So, because the stores always used to have certain things that I don't know if they had to play, or could you have free reign or whatever you can play in the shop?
It's more free reign now. Obviously, you try now. You set it to your demographic. So in the morning, I'd normally play a bit of specialist music, a bit of country, or that. I won't just play, a Slipknot album, 9 a.m. first thing in the morning. But you try, and we try still on a Saturday. We play when you got more kids in. We play more charty and compilation albums. But normally, I just play the Foals every day. I play the Cure every day.
Are they your favourite bands?
And then when I go on my lunch, Dom puts the Who on, and then I come up and I go, and he's there listening to that. So
I get the chance to do that. That's fine.
I would as well. If you had the chance to put your own music, your favourite music on, why not?
But no, we try to keep it credible, because I always think with a lot of chart stuff, people know it's out, and it's not like you ever walk along, listen to One Direction, and go, "What's this?"
If they wanted that, they could just turn Radio 1 on.
Yeah, exactly. So it's more when you play more stuff like the Lovely Eggs, where a lot of people won't have heard of them all the time, and then they've only heard of them, they're on that music scene. So then if you play that in store, people will be, oh, what's this? And then they'll buy the album off the back of it.
Yeah, that's the point. They'll go, oh, what's that? They're thinking it's something like was like in the charts or something. And
exactly.
No, it's a local band. That's a good idea.
But I've never had, say, played a Now CD and had somebody go, what's this brilliant? I'll buy that off the back. They know it's out. They know it's out, so...
That's a separate machine.
Yeah, exactly.
I think HMV used to be part of that, but not now. I think they're their own entity now.
I think HMV still is a cool brand on its own.
I think
it's an actual brand. It's a cool brand. It's people like to go in there. People like to work there, and it's always been the same.
Yeah, it always to me has seemed like a cool place, not just to go, but like to work. People have always been friendly and knowledgeable. And is that something that is talked about when someone's wanting to work there? They still
obviously the main thing if I interview somebody, I always want to see their passion for what we sell, and you always want to see they've got to have some knowledge, because people go in there and they want to know that you know what they're on about.
Yeah, you wouldn't want someone there who's just there because it's just a job.
Just go in and go, what's the best Fleetwood Mac album? And go, don't know, mate.
Yeah,
they've got to know what
they wouldn't fit in, would they?
No, exactly.
The very best of Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, be like Alan Partridge.
Default answer.
Yeah. The best of the Beatles. So you can't,
But because it used to be, like the staff, I've always thought them to be very knowledgeable and also friendly, and I think people remember that. I think that's quite important. Like some places where you go, people just give you like default answers.
We're lucky because it's a place where everybody loves. It is a good place to work where you like the product. Not just slagging off any retailers, but surely if you worked at Poundland, you're not going to be overly passionate about the product. You might enjoy working there, but it can't. Whereas HMV, everybody watches films, everybody listens to music, so it is easier to be passionate about the product.
Don't put them down too much.
They're lovely people.
Those re-wrapped David Gray CDs won't sell themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And Shaggy. Don't forget.
So do you sometimes get sent stuff saying you need to put these in the shop? You need to sell these. You get told sometimes.
That's everything.
We've
got to sell the lot.
But you don't do you sometimes decide how much of a certain thing that you want to sell?
For instance, we see what orders we got coming in. If we think we're going to sell more, we can request more copies. So if we see, say for instance, Hasty Dixie are doing a playing at the fire station soon, so we requested all of their back cat and we requested more of their album because we knew we'd sell it.
Never thought of that.
Same as Lovely Eggs. Before they even announced a signing here because the new album was coming out, we requested more of their back catalogue.
Yeah.
You know, so you have got to look for commercial. You
keep
know,
your eye on what's going on
in
the area and try and play to that.
Yeah, of course you have.
It's cool because it's quite a responsibility, really.
Well, like it's
a good responsibility.
It's a fun one, you know what it's
Yeah.
not. It's not one that I find a chore because
No,
it's
no.
not hard to say. Oh, you listen to some bands and decide if they can play in the shop. You know, oh no,
Yeah.
for God's sake, you know, 'cause it's fun. One, I'd like to listen to them anyway. So the rest of it's just a
true.
bonus, you know.
So you always get plenty of people coming out to check out bands when they play at the store.
Yeah. We had the Postcard Band. I don't know if you heard of.
Yeah, I know them.
Heard of them? They were pretty our best. We sold about 20 of their albums off the back when they played in the store,
right,
you
cool.
know. And they come in, and it just when people heard the music out, even in the shopping centre, it just kind of drove people in as well.
Oh, that's good.
And then everyone's like, "What a great idea! How long have you been doing this?" And we're like, "We're going to be doing it more and more." So
Yeah.
come on.
Because you have obviously a lot of people go past your shop, so like your window must be quite an important tool.
It is, yeah. It's one of the windows. I always say, even my boss says, everybody stops and looks in it.
They do. That's true.
So it's good. So we always make so at the moment you see the windows full with record players, Downton
Oh,
Abbey. And
sporadic collection
yeah,
of
but
various
so we
things.
try and make the window interesting because
Yeah.
obviously you want to see people
true.
want to show what we're selling and hopefully they come in and buy something.
It's always interesting for me when I have to change the posters on a Sunday and crawl round record players and various things. It's a nice obstacle course.
You're a pro at it now.
Oh yeah. I'm so
Agile.
feline.
He is. He's like a cat.
Yes.
So what are your specific roles that you do there then?
I'm
Um,
well,
Well, what are you? A manager.
store
the controller.
manager.
Your store manager.
Yeah.
Right. And you're the
I'm the Dom.
Dom.
That's me.
It's more Dom when we got the new vinyl racks in there. So Dom runs our record section in there. So he's got one of the best responsibilities because it's one of the growing areas and a bit we're doing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get to
But he is the
browse
Dom,
records as I sticker them and sort them
So
out.
you pay attention to what's going on with that, and you can stay on the ball.
Yeah, and it's mainly about the ease of access for people because we've got so much stock and so much specific stock. Like, we've got a massive jazz section, but the shelf in the centres wasn't even big enough to fit everything. So we need to extend into our own things because loads of people come in for niche things.
Yeah.
So if you haven't got that Curtis Mayfield record out and someone wants it, and
So
it's
do
all
you,
below.
do you have to essay on like how much space to give something?
Yeah, we
a
do.
genre
We,
or a type of.
every genre is done. You have a space report and you decide what goes where. And obviously
So if
they
some
decide.
genre's not getting much action, can you sort of shrink it?
We can request it to your boss, yeah, and ask, and you can make a request, and you think we can shrink this. So there's a bit of leeway they give us.
Yeah.
Dom buys more vinyl than he puts out, by the
Yeah,
way.
that's not right.
That, so.
What does that mean?
But I have
His stuff sales like that.
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
my records. It's very slight. My collection.
Yeah.
It's not as big as my film collection.
So is it quite easy for you to just pick and choose and order vinyl and it just comes in?
Yeah, but sadly the stuff that I want to order is usually like stuff that hasn't come in. It's quite on small labels. There's a
right.
record that just came out by Sam Lee, a folk artist, and
Right.
I was like, oh, I haven't got the vinyl. I've got this CD. I didn't even know it was coming out. I was like, oh, I haven't heard this.
That the one
Oh,
you
right.
tweeted yesterday.
Yes,
Oh.
and when I'm processing it coming in for the new release, I was like, oh, I haven't heard of this. That's one of my favourite things. When I find something in a box, I'm like, oh, there we go. There's more money that I've spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always thought that would be a cool thing. Like you in the perfect place to discover new music physically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do like Spotify's recommended because it's based. It knows what you've listened to, so
It's
it recommends
clever-
stuff
it's
based
clever,
on
isn't
that.
it?
It is
It's
based
how
on
it-
that. But I also liked when I was in a music shop of just the pure randomness of just
yeah.
discovering something. Sometimes when I was like a teenager, I would just like a cover. I've bought stuff just because I just like the cover.
Don't
Well, that's
worry.
what a lot of people-
Aesthetics are...
That was before the internet, before you had a chance. You weren't able to check it out.
A lot of people buy these record frames now, and they actually frame the artwork.
Yeah,
and
that's
put
true.
it
So
on,
even if the
you know,
record's
so-
absolute shite, you can
Yeah.
still just appreciate the artwork.
Yeah, that's true. If it's
so
correct,
there we
well, I've got a poster.
I
You know,
got
imagine-
it from the artist who did the cover. Did you not know
Yeah.
that?
You imagine the amount of people who got Nirvana Nevermind framed up on their wall or something like that.
It's not a great.
It's a weird album
It's
case.
not that
It's
great
a
when
weird
you
album
think about
cover
it.
to have, or Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon or something.
Yeah, even the Black Album. It's like you put it on a poster, you're like
It's black. I can see.
I can see like a snake just.
Yeah.
It's not a lot to it,
Yeah.
but yeah, in a way, that's one of the ones that did stand out because it's just black. You're like, what's that?
It makes it stand out. It's iconic,
Yeah,
isn't it? Like Primal Scream as well. Not careful on it.
yeah, that's true. Because I noticed
Metallica.
colours do stand out. Like it's like when someone's looking through a magazine or something, they're making snap judgments in seconds. Oh, when they go past the window.
Yeah, exactly.
things have got to catch their eye to get them
I've
attention.
been noticing this recently because I have a big pet hate for the way movies are advertised now at the cinema. I think poster design has gone out of the window commercially.
Right.
Like when you're in viewing Carlisle, like the poster for Little Women at the minute, it just makes my blood run cold because it looks so awful. It's just a white background with badly cut out versions of the characters.
Yes.
And I'm like, could you not have commissioned an artist
Yeah,
to
you're
make
right,
something memorable? And I'm like,
Maybe they spent all the money on the
film. I'm like, no.
Just lazy.
No, they didn't. It's just.
No, you're right, actually. But I've stopped watching trailers now because it basically I don't need to see the film.
Yeah. No, they give too much of it away
they
now.
Do. Some films, it's like the last Star Wars. I didn't think it was that great when I saw it, but I didn't watch the trailers because I didn't want to have any preconceived notions.
Don't worry.
Made it
you know the film that you watched.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing like
Really
those trailers.
But also, when I saw that Little Women poster because I went to cinema last week to see The Gentleman.
Oh yes,
which was really good.
I've heard that's good.
But I didn't see any trailers. I'd heard a few months ago, I was like, Guy Ritchie's doing his first sort of like Snatch type film in however many years. I was like, that's all I need to know. I'll go and see it, and it was great. It's a much better experience not having a clue what's going to happen.
And Hugh Grant was good as well, innit?
He was brilliant. He was so good. I kept forgetting it was Hugh Grant.
He's having a renaissance.
Good. Yeah.
Ever since Paddington 2.
First I was like, is that Hugh Grant? Mm-hmm. And then I got my head around that. About halfway through the film, I forget it was Hugh Grant.
I think so. You can they can turn it around. Look at Matthew McConaughey. He's on like his massive resurgence now, and he was a man of the rom-coms, and now look at all his films he does are good. So
have you seen that film? Have you seen The
No,
Gentleman?
not yet. My friends keep telling me about it. I will.
I won't spoil it, but I just like Guy Ritchie's style, like multiple different things going, keeps you guessing. You know,
I'll wait till it's out on Blu-ray.
Well,
yes,
I've been waiting for his.
It was that good. I thought I would actually buy that.
Yeah,
when it comes out.
I've been waiting for his sodding Sherlock Holmes 3 for ages because that's what Downey Jr. should have done instead of Dr. Dolittle, which looks awful.
Yeah, it's a questionable choice.
Yeah, it's like
a financial choice.
Disney just wanted to keep him on board. Oh, you're not Iron Man anymore. Here you go. Be Dr.
He probably said no, but then they went, here's 45 million. Oh, okay, I'll do it. Why
sure,
not?
I'll stick around.
Well, we're definitely doing Sherlock Holmes 3.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I've not seen any of them yet.
Oh, they're good. The first one's good.
Yeah.
Not the second.
But that's like, I don't know. I see movies. I mean, you guys have got to know stuff about movies as well, not just music. You've got to know a bit about everything that you sell. I guess.
Let's call it entertainment now. It's just
entertainment.
one whole blanket thing to explain it all.
Because you could just be at home watching something, going, "I'm doing research."
Yeah, you are in a way.
It's like when I was a greengrocer, people used to come and say, what's a such taste like? Or how would you describe it? You had to like, our boss used to make like taste stuff and like remember where it comes from because you're gonna get asked these questions.
The worst is when you get asked. You get some people come in and they say, "Oh, can you recommend me something for my 10-year-old daughter?" And that's one of the hardest questions you can be asked because
all 10-year-old daughters are exactly the same, aren't they?
You can have some 10-year-olds who might be in just listening to now CDs, or some who have already gone down a grunge path or some sort of music path. So you can get it so wrong. So when they do that, I just like, well, this is the popular stuff, but what are they into? What albums they listen to? And
what else have they liked?
And if they go, I don't know, you're like, I could ruin someone's Christmas or someone's birthday. Yeah,
Slayer, Rain in Blood. There you go.
Yeah, exactly. But they could be into that. You imagine if their 10-year-old does like Slayer, and then you go, oh, here's the latest, I don't know, One Direction album. that could ruin them.
The next generation.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's worse questions to be asked though. I also work in the Fat Gadgie in Carlisle as well. If you know that place, the Ale Bar. One of the worst questions when someone comes in, what beer do you do? And physical violence would be nice to occur.
What do you say to them, Dom?
Well, there's no sarcasm involved.
You just say lots.
You just serve them the worst one. No, you don't. You don't. We don't do that at all.
The most expensive one.
Yes, here we go. It's only £7 a pint.
You pour out the slop tray, put that in there.
No. It'd be too obvious. Too obvious.
How long you worked there for?
Since April. So 8 months or something like that.
I like it now.
So beer and records and film.
Yeah.
Renaissance man, mate.
I wish you could bring the beer aspect into work, but they don't.
Yeah, that would be a good expansion for HMV. Have a bar.
You know, I think some of us would be funner if we're drunk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some.
Maybe me.
Yes.
Some might be a bit more useless.
Probably that as well.
Falling asleep.
It's too risky.
It is. You have customers drinking then as well. That'd be even worse.
Let's not go there.
Have you had any awkward customers or?
Had loads too. It kind of goes over your head after a while because you only really remember the ones now that are proper awkward and proper. You know what I mean? The ones that
stick in your mind.
Yeah, exactly. Like we had some lady last week who had ordered a vinyl online and it hadn't turned up. So obviously advice to chase it online, but then it's more your fault in store for it, So you do everything.
Really your fault, though, isn't it?
To yeah. Well, we still have a lot of people because there used to be a store in Dumfries and it's not there. You go, you closed our store down. I think, I don't think I did, but I'm happy to help you. Whatever you need, I'll always help. Whatever you need, it's more like you did it.
You were physically there with the keys, weren't you?
No, I don't think I did, but I'll happily help you with anything you want.
Yes, but like other stores, where was the nearest store that last closed?
Well, it's still the nearest one I think was Dumfries, but that is shut before I was there.
Oh, did it?
So we got one one opened up in Workington only a few years ago. So and they're still in Workington and still doing well by all accounts,
Yeah,
So.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think what other ones there was.
Just two. We got two in Cumbria. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty
probably
good.
all we need.
And closest probably to that's Lancaster probably.
Yeah.
Or Newcastle. Yeah.
Newcastle's got
a
couple.
Yeah.
I was trying to think. What was it? It was our price. Was that?
I used to work there.
Did you?
2002. I worked at our price.
I remember going there.
See, that was a proper record store.
Yeah,
as well,
it was.
They were, because I remember when I worked there, you can understand in a way they're not there. You were just allowed to do what you wanted to do. If you wanted to do a display of your favourite 90s dance at the front, you could just do it. No thing you can just go, I'm going to do this today. Okay, fair enough. And so it was kind of a bit of different format.
Yeah.
It was kind of, there's a bit of that with today, but there's more rhyme or reason behind it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I always remember Music Zone because that was a thing in my youth where it popped up in Carlisle. And
MVC
I was like, ooh.
As well, MVC.
Andy's Records.
Yeah, I remember a few of them.
Barrow. I lived in Barrow for a short time. It was an Andy's Records.
So you're showing your age now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm nearly 40.
Yeah.
Well, 39 in a couple of days. But I don't know, music. Young people today I don't think they view music like we did. Even you're 26, so
we made you feel
even
old now,
10 years younger than you will see it differently than you see it.
Definitely.
Even when they get to your age, I think they'll have a different perspective on it because they'll have grown up with it.
Yeah, unless they have an influence in their life that kind of guides that sensibility. I think it's going to be ingrained.
Their whole world is becoming on their phone.
Yeah.
That's the way they do everything.
It's just a societal
thing.
It
gives you the world at your hand, doesn't it? Like you think when you're back at school and you had to set homework, you had to go home and load up that encyclopedia thing on your computer. Do you remember?
96.
Well, now you would just go home on Google and go, right, what's the name of the Pope? I'll check it on there. But
that is, like your whole life in a screen. I don't think that's not good. Your interactions with human beings is
opticians are going to do very well in the next few years.
I blame having a TV too close to my bed. What made my eyesight go?
How do you stop it? How do you stop it there?
I don't know.
I always loved Charlie Brooker's story about that. When he was out of work, Charlie Brooker, before he started to become big, he was out of work and he turned his telly physically on its side so he could lie on the couch and still watch it at the correct angle. And I was like, oh, that's the life.
Yeah, just TV probably about there from my bed. I just correlate that with my
black and white one.
When I was about 16, 17, and my eyesight used to be, I could see things perfectly close or far away, to then within a space of a year, I would struggle to see a bus when it was coming really close and see what it was. And that was in a space of a year. And that was the only thing I could think of that changed in that year, because there was no one else in my family wore glasses at the time. So
it's never good to work in front of a screen all day, does it?
No, I think people work in offices like that far away from a screen.
Eyesight and posture, man. Everyone's going to be absolutely knackered.
Yeah, at least you guys get to wander around in the store a bit and you don't look at screens all day.
Just try and blink a bit more, that would do it.
So it used to annoy me when people used to put the CDs in the wrong place.
Oh, I can't say how annoying
I think that's where part of my OCD comes from. Like everything has to be in its right place.
When they know they're doing it. So they just be pulling out you next to it. So you kind of try to be subtle. So you tidy them up next to them as they're doing it. And then they say, like, no.
It's not the place for someone with severe OCD to work, is it?
And you got to remember, they are a customer and they shop. If that's the way they shop, then...
What, by going...
I have
and then walk out without buying anything.
Just never let them round your house.
Yeah, that's true.
No comment from me. I don't want my blood pressure to go.
Come on, Dom, tell us.
No, I'll just get too annoyed.
I'll just get fired.
Yeah.
But I'm forever going to Dom. We're doing walking around the record section. I'm like, why isn't this record in here? Why is not that in there? And then Dom will find it like a couple of 8 pockets away from it every time. And
Technically,
that annoys you, doesn't it?
Technically, I used to work there sometimes because that's what all I would do.
You're tidying up.
I'd be looking for something, but I'd be going, "That's not, someone's put that there. That goes over there." I spend half my time doing that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I'm in shops and I'm like, oh, why don't I get a wage?
Why do you do it subconsciously? This morning I was walking down a shopping centre and there was a cone on its side, and I couldn't help but walk over and pick it up. And then I thought, what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck am I doing after that? I thought, why am I picking up this cone? You know what I mean?
I don't know. It's like, but I've known some people who have it bad. Like sometimes I'll see things like plugs, you know, where they're switched on but there's nothing plugged in.
I hate it.
I look at it and I go,
you have to turn it on.
No, I don't have to. That's what I'm saying. I'm not that bad. Well, I'll see it. If I was right next to it, maybe I would. But if there was like a few and I was in a room, there's loads of them, I'm not that bothered.
You not think about it afterwards.
No.
So you can't.
But that's the fine line, isn't it? Some people do. Some people severe. It's been in like soaps and films and TV series where people like can't leave the house without turning all the switches off.
I've met a few people like that. Yeah, I've definitely met a few people with OCD like that.
Strange. It seems to start with small things and it just seems to progress to.
I think we've all got a mild part of it in some respects. Like I always have it. I have to make sure the curtains are completely drawn. You know, and I'm like, why?
No gaps.
What's it matter? Why does it matter?
I'm like that with curtains as well.
All right.
I'm not the only one.
If there's like a little slit, I'm like, no, forget it. I'll get seen. Someone will see.
Someone's gonna be outside going like that.
So I'm not.
Yeah, they might.
I'm not as strange as I thought I was. Then.
No, that's all. We all have our quirks.
We're all as strange as each other.
Yeah.
But I'm not as bad as some others, like volume on an even number. I'm not that.
Oh, no. Or like Peter Kay, I'm not getting up on 07, I'm getting up on 05 or 010. I'm not mad.
No, it doesn't bother me.
You don't brush your teeth 10 times?
Just as many times as I need to.
Until electric toothbrush, so until it stops. 2 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people do have very particular about things.
Especially, I work with people who worked at HMV who do a display, and it does have to be perfect. But I quite like that.
Well, that's not a bad thing in that environment, is
No.
it? Things are going to be like
But you can
someone
spend
doing
a
a
lot
window where things are
Yeah.
not
My
wonky or like that's another thing on a photo on a wall. If it's
I can't have a wonky. Yeah, you can't have a wonky.
That's a big one.
You can't have a wonky frame.
And if you're at somebody else's house,
I'll
wait till I go to the toilet and then I'll straighten up.
I was on the till at work the other day, and there's this wonky frame, and I was just serving. And I just wanted to leave to
Distracted
fix it,
you.
and I had to. In the end, after I finished it, I had to fix it.
People going, what's he doing?
And I felt okay. Then you think, why does it matter?
It doesn't matter, but I don't know what it is about things that are not symmetrical or level or it's a human thing.
That symmetry, it needs to be there.
My girlfriend keeps leaving the bread bin open.
Sacrilege.
Your bread goes rock hard.
It's gonna if I don't go and close
And
it.
you're still with her.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Yeah.
That's not as queer as folk.
Yeah. Must be love, that.
Something like that.
We all have our.
Yeah, I think everybody has a bit of mild OCD in that respect, but
I reckon that most people have got a mild bit of autism in them. Not autism, dyslexia.
maybe.
Certain things where if there's a word that you can't say, or sometimes you'll be putting numbers in or letters in or a password, and you just go, I've just got that completely wrong. What am I doing? Like just mild things like that, where some people have really dyslexic, where they struggle to get through school, but then they end up being really successful.
I remember when I was at school. I remember my mum got called in because the teacher said, "Oh, he might be dyslexic," and then the teacher went, "No, he's just lazy."
But back in the day, they didn't know it wasn't an identified thing, so people just thought you were stupid.
Yeah.
And you got ridiculed, and it was quite
stigmatised.
hard. Yeah, it was quite harsh.
So that's a good thing where times have changed. So we said about earlier how times have changed about.
Yeah, times have changed. We actually do research and stuff now.
Yeah. If someone's got mental health problems, we don't just send them into war anymore, you know.
No, we encourage them to talk.
Yeah, we don't just send them out.
That's a fairly recent thing, isn't it? The whole mental health awareness thing, which is a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's
a very good thing.
It would kind of get brushed under the carpet, I feel, years ago.
And particularly with males, obviously, because that's the big push at the minute.
Yeah.
Is for men to start talking about it.
Yeah, women were mainly the main focus of it. Because a lot of men didn't open up, so they just had this tough man in image, so people just thought they were all right.
Well, yeah, there's that.
When they weren't.
Have you ever read Robert Webb's book, The one he brought out last. That's all about that, where he thinks it's wrong, where like you're told men don't cry, you know, pull yourself together.
Yeah.
And he thinks that causes people more problems in
I think
life.
it does,
You know,
yeah.
just
They end up
but
just masking stuff.
His dad would just tell him off for crying, and you know, he thinks that's what makes people, you know, because he says you have emotions, you should feel them.
Real men don't cry and all
real
that
men don't
bollocks.
cry, pull yourself together, you know. But then
So-
you got to think when older generations, when they said that, times were different, you know.
Well, yeah, if you're in the middle of a war, kind of puts things in perspective.
You can't really
doesn't it?
fall apart, you know.
Well,
You got to try to stay as strong as you can do, you know.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, yeah,
Not us.
those first post-war years, because I'm a big Who fan, I know all the backstory and stuff like that, and the families just wouldn't talk, and that's where that generation of teenagers were born, because
Even now.
the generation just wouldn't tell them what happened during that period of time.
Yeah, people
And it
would
was like-
die, and then they would find their letters and their memoirs and stuff, and it would be full of stuff that they never spoke about.
Yeah.
They just couldn't.
It's like I'd go to my granddad and be like, "What do you think made the Germans do that?" And he's like, "Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Don't want to talk about it." There was no release.
You've got to respect that as well, though, haven't you? You can't really
Yeah, but
force it.
there was a bit of an emotional stunt, and then that generation obviously went on because they were like, "Well, what do we do?" And
Yeah.
we're a bit freer.
Whereas now, if we had a war now,
Well, I'd be like, "Well, who's signing up for that? I'm not signing up
Yeah,
for,
but
your,
the
for your
difference-
war that you want to send me
if you
to."
if you compare 18-year-olds in the 1930s
It's a lot
Yes.
different,
compared
yeah.
to 18-year-olds now,
Yeah,
But you ever see it when you watch these old films and you see somebody on a film and they look about 50 and then they're
Yeah.
only about 20 years old and
Yeah.
you're like, what? And it just shows that people actually looking younger and being younger now,
Yeah.
you know?
oh yeah.
like the biggest things teenagers have to worry about now is like, what Instagram filter should I use, or
Wi-Fi.
what's the
What's the
Wi-Fi
Wi-Fi
password?
code? Where's the Wi-Fi?
First thing they think of.
Yeah, why isn't my mum
Different world.
washing or something like that?
Not that I want a war to come back, but but it just shows you how far we've sort of not gone downhill, but we've just gone away from how
yeah,
it used to
it's
be.
kind of
Good.
if you
We've got more.
in that
I
respect,
think we're a
it's
lot
good,
more.
though.
We're a lot more superficial, though.
yes,
I think.
if we're in like Back to the Future 2 land, we've gone off on a different
Yeah.
tangent from that timeline.
Totally skewed it.
Yeah.
As soon as I think the internet's got a lot to answer for, it's kind of made us go, because no one predicted it.
Well, no, it was
No
totally
one-
our left field, and
It's
it's
like when file sharing all came in, like in the record industry, just wanted to just plough forward.
oh yes.
They didn't want to admit that anything was going to change.
Oh, let's not talk about Metallica and that then.
Oh no!
Do you remember Napster
Yeah.
and all of that when it first was?
I'll admit I was an Napster user. I was
Yeah.
just. I mean, even stuff that I already had, I was going, well, I'll have a digital copy of that because then I don't have to get the CD out.
You
I
will
can
be
just play
hard
it.
pressed to find people who've never ever used sites like that. But I think it expands people's musical horizons or things like
Yeah.
that, and they will go out and buy it after that if they like something.
But at the
Interesting.
time, I think Metallica were right in what the principle of what they were saying was, if like, well, if that's happening to us, what about the small guy who's trying to like
Yeah,
that could prevent them from having a career if
yeah,
the money's just gone.
yeah,
No one's buying. Everyone's just. It was the illegal side of it.
yeah, yeah.
If the record companies had come in early, tackled it head on, and said, right, here's a really easy, cheap
Yeah.
service
Yeah.
like iTunes, so they did it, not record companies, then people would have just got on board with it. Like
Yeah.
your average punter would have just gone, oh, okay, I'll just do that
I
then.
think people just thought the good times would last forever, in a
Yeah.
way, didn't they? They never thought it was going to. They never thought the internet was going to affect everything the way that it did. I think, say about 15 years ago, people were just like, "Oh, the internet's a phase,"
Yeah, that
you
was a
know.
big
And then
thing.
they
That was
didn't
a big thing.
realise how. I don't think anybody realised how big a thing it actually was. And then it's all of a sudden places are struggling because
But
of
also,
it. You know?
for the first few years, there was no option other than legally. There was no
Yeah.
other option than the legal option.
No.
So if someone had come in with a viable legal option straight away, I think we would have been a lot further down that path than we
'Cause
are now.
Who was the first to come up with their own legitimate service? Were Apple the first to come in with it, or was there someone else before that?
No, iTunes was first. I
iTunes
think.
were first
Yeah.
with their 79p, now 99p.
Yeah, but they don't
It's
even do.
inflation that is done.
Oh yes, inflation.
Yeah.
I thought they didn't do digital downloads anymore. I thought they just Apple Music streaming now, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Oh,
I think
But
so.
they
shows-
stopped. You can't get an iPod anymore, can you?
No.
They've
That
stopped
shows,
all of that. So.
that shows
Yeah.
how much I use.
And they don't. The charts don't include downloads, and I think it's just streams.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
because then how does that work? Because if you're a smaller artist and the amount of money you get per stream, it's all very.
It's pennies.
It is.
Well,
isn't it?
like what was it? Metallica posted up 2019. They had 1 billion streams.
Yeah.
That's money. That's serious money. Because they have put the money up that artists get slightly. I think it was 2 years ago from 0.02 to 0.07. I think it was.
Don't you find it odd how the streams count towards the chart, though? I never can get that. I used to have to buy a CD to count. Now you can just listen to a song and it counts towards the chart.
Yeah.
No, I just find it bizarre, you know?
It is bizarre, I suppose, but you've just got to go with however people are consuming. And that's illegal. They're doing it legally, so you've just got to go with it.
It's the way that it is, you know?
But, yeah. It's because you remember how it was before.
I know.
And it just seems, you put the two together.
It's just you have nostalgia. You remember how good Christmas #1 was, you know, waiting for what the Christmas #1, and now you struggle to even know what the Christmas #1 was.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why you're always going to have a fondness for, you know, for physical media, just because you remember the Oasis battles and the Blur battles, and now you're like, what's the #1? So something about a sausage roll, I think. You're like, all right.
That was last. Was that this one?
Yeah,
Just
it was
gone?
the Christmas #1, wasn't it?
And it probably will be
Remember
next year. It will be, or it'll be a pasty or something.
Was it? Wasn't we built this city on sausage rolls? That was the year before.
There was
wasn't
one like that.
Yeah.
There was a new one.
Yes.
I love sausage rolls, I think.
Yes. I love sausage rolls.
There you go. You bought it, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. No. I didn't find out about it until after the event, but I'd rather that than, you know, some of that typically gets in the chat. It's like when Radio 1 or any of the major commercial stations have like a phone in where you can play whatever you want. Who are these people ringing up asking for what's already played?
I know, it's odd.
Do they just? Surely there must be people asking for different stuff, and they're just hand picking the stuff.
They must hand pick it, definitely.
That's when we just need to be
It's probably
snobbish and go into Six Music instead, because at least I'll get something
I
different.
mean, occasionally I'll get my Mrs. Car, and it'll be on TFM or Radio 1 or something like that, and I usually last about 30 seconds, and I just go, "What?" I don't care if it makes me old. I'm just like, this is going off.
Because even oh, sorry, you go. You go first. Because I'm thinking even the good music they play kind of gets drowned out and hidden beneath all the crap that comes with their service.
Whenever they do like requests, or Radio 1 decides to play heavy metal or something, they always choose the most extreme example of it, as if to say, this is heavy metal, this is what it all sounds like. It's like, no.
I thought they were going to get it totally wrong and play like Bastille for heavy metal. that would be Radio 1 for me.
The only thing they did do recently, well, a couple of years ago, was the Radio 1 rock show went to a normal time, didn't it? Is it like on a Sunday night, like 7 o'clock?
Oh, did it?
Used to be on like 1 o'clock in the morning on
prime
a Tuesday night or something.
Well, 'cause they played it down a bit.
It was Daniel P. Carr, wasn't it? He does the... I don't know if he does now, but he used to.
That's flying over my head. I know none of these people.
He used to be in the band A. Do you remember them?
No.
They were good? They were quite good actually. Early 2000s. They sounded a bit like Feeder.
Oh,
They were. It's kind of the same time as them, but they broke up for whatever reason.
I'll look them up in the morning.
Yeah,
I'll have a look.
because I always remember they had. It was the best thing ever. They had the song was called A, the band was called A, and the album was called A. So when on MTV it just said A. I was like, what the hell is that? So it made me like turn it on, turn it up.
It's just to mess with you.
But they've just come back last year. They just reformed after like 20 years or something.
So you're gonna watch him back on tour?
I might do, yeah.
Get him on here.
There's a lot of bands reforming, like Reef. Some of the British bands.
I don't think they really ever went
Reef?
away. Bands.
They've
always done the small festival thing, you know.
But they've come back with like new music and a new album. I
Well, you
think.
look, Futurehead's playing the Brickyard. So you think they've come back?
Yeah.
People thought Maximo Park. People thought they're gone. They've come back.
Yeah. Well, how long's it been?
Libertines keep going and coming back constantly. You know.
How long was Supergrass's bit of a lull? They split
quite
up,
a
didn't
while,
they?
yeah.
And now they're back, and they're going to be at Kendall Calling this year.
Terrorvision.
Yeah.
They came back as well. Some of them did a tour together, didn't they? Last year, I think. Like a Brit rock kind of tour thing. Reef was one of the bands.
Right.
You've seen the Kendall Calling lineup?
Yeah, I have. I'm
not
looking
bad.
forward. It's got the Foals. I can't wait to see.
yeah.
Murder Capital. It's got all my.
It's got our buddies, Massive Wagons playing Kendall Calling.
When I saw, I was like, "Oh, did you curate Kendall Calling for yourself?"
I still say I preferred last year's lineup. Last year's lineup
yeah.
was good, but this year it seems to have a few of the ones I want to see. But a lot of the ones that are playing, I'm already due to see at gigs this year anyway.
Colt 45 played last year. I was on holiday, so I couldn't go last year. But I was like, I'm definitely going to go this year, even before they announced the lineup.
Local stage is always amazing at Kendall as well.
It used to be
the Yam Riot stage.
Yeah, but they've really got on it now. They're really on it.
Because last year I found myself watching in that stage a lot of it, and then I thought, why am I in here? These are the local bands. I can see them all the time. I thought going back and watch the others, but
best band I saw 2018. The one I went was Marmosette's.
Right.
But they weren't on the main stage. They were in the tent, but they should have been on the main stage. But it was absolutely rammed. Because 2018, are you familiar with the Marmosette's?
No, not really.
You
should have my job, really. Every band
2018, they had an album that was like #1 all over Europe, and they played all the big festivals. And then they got to Christmas, and they put out a message saying, "Thanks for a great year."
Right.
There's been lots of ups and downs, and the album was amazing. It was well received, and then they just disappeared. But they just all social media just stopped. But then it turned out that the singer she'd had a baby, so then they took all of 19 off, nothing. They did like one post halfway through of them in a room together.
Well,
I thought they were doing a Death Grips meme in their own audience.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But they were really shit hot on their social media so for them to just stop.
Right.
It kind of, I don't know if it was intentional because if they've got a rabid following, it piques their interest as to say, why have they just stopped? What's happened? They were like, there was no sign of anything wrong or them slowing down. It just stopped on this day. So one day they'll just come back. I half expect they'll just come back. Maybe this year, just go, here's an album and a tour.
Yeah,
just do it quietly behind
I like that one.
I like it when bands do that.
Artists do that.
I'm just going to nip out for a minute.
Yeah, no worries. It was Disturbed, wasn't it? Did they do that a few years ago? We talked about that?
Yeah, they did
They just
that
came back from like a 9-year hiatus and just went, here's an album, here's a tour, it starts in 3 months, go.
Sorry about that, I'll just blow the mics with that chair, man.
That's all right. Yeah, it took me by surprise.
Yeah.
And I was on it straight away. It was
I think that has just as much impact as when a band does like snippets of them in the studio, write the songs, and then you spent a year following, which is good, but everyone does that.
Yeah.
I kind of like the alternative of just going, here's the
go.
product. You don't have to wait, it's here.
What album was it? Was it Lemonade when Beyonce just did that and came out with it, and it served her really well? Like,
I think caught people off guard.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what?
I always imagine it's much harder to keep things like that under wraps these days.
Well, yeah,
I don't know,
massively
to have stuff on lockdown.
Yeah, it must be weird because
It's
everything
like-
gets leaked.
But you don't really see songs getting leaked anymore.
No.
Like bands put stuff out when it's meant to come out.
Yeah.
No one starts sharing stuff.
And then
around.
if something does come out early, it kind of transpires that they kind of
they
let it
they
go
were
early.
part. They had a
It's
part
like,
of
oh
that.
yeah, we put it on SoundCloud ourselves. Or
This
something
demo,
like that. Yeah.
or like a demo like with no name on it. Like,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
sounds like. But there's so many different ways now bands have got so many more tools that
Oh,
are
yeah.
disposable.
And I think a lot of them are using them really well because
Yeah.
it would be so easy to get lost in the mire of what is the internet.
Yeah.
But if you use it to your advantage, you're well on your
You've
way.
also got to think outside, like HMV Carlisle
yeah.
has got to think outside the box to
you just
stand
gotta-
out.
Yeah. Well, it's those stories I always liked to hear about David Bowie when he'd be on forums and he might just make an account himself
Yeah.
and add to rumours that weren't even true, and he'd make up stories
I
about
like
himself, and I quite like that.
Yeah, no, he was good. There was a video recently went viral of him from like 1999, pretty much predicting like what would happen with file sharing and the internet, stating like the good and the bad side of it.
Yeah.
Even though by that point he just dabbled with it.
Well, yeah.
He called it.
Pete Townsend talks about a lecture he gave in 1985 where people walked out because he said, one day you'll be able to pick up the telephone and you'll be able to just have music. And then people walked out and called him an idiot because vinyl will never go.
Yeah. It was
It
like,
hasn't, but so they were
No,
right
it
in that
hasn't, no.
aspect.
but do you think CDs will go then?
Eventually, I
Because
reckon,
like cars now are not coming with the new cars aren't coming with no CD player.
Yeah, yeah.
PCs without a CD drive.
See, I don't like that at all. You still should have a choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I was still going to get a new car, if someone offered me a brand new car now, I still want a CD player in it.
Yeah, I was thinking that if cars go that way, that's the last mainstay of CDs.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
That
like
could be the final nail in the
car
coffin.
companies are affecting it, aren't they? Really, in
Yeah.
a way, because they're just
Well,
saying
they've
you've
just
got
got
no
Bluetooth,
choice.
and
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
cars
yeah.
have got Wi-Fi in them now, so you just you plug your phone in and you're away.
So the way other markets go dictates how the industry goes with formats.
No, for me, that's like getting a house and it not having an oven in it. You know, you know what I mean? It wouldn't happen. You'd be like, what am I meant to do? Just cook? You got to cook in the garden now.
I must admit,
You know, it's changing and forcing you to change as well. You know?
yeah. Well, it's
So-
maybe it's reflecting also. It is forcing people to change, but it's reflecting a change that's happening as well.
Right.
Where most people just as soon as you put your phone in your car,
Yeah.
Bluetooth, bang, it picks up wherever you left off.
Yeah, and they save a bit of space in the console or whatever.
Yeah,
And
I do remember one car that had the 6 CD
Oh,
changer
God.
in the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To
when
get out.
everyone used to have their subwoofers and all
Yeah,
of them.
and I
in
had
the
like the
back,
same,
yeah.
I had like the same CDs in it for like a year. I was like, I have to change my CDs. I have to. Otherwise, I listen to the radio, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
First car I ever had in 1999 didn't have a CD player, just had a radio. Didn't even have a cassette
Didn't
player,
even have a
just
cassette
radio.
player.
So I had to go on like Halfords and buy
What
one.
car did you have?
It was like a Fiesta,
oh, nice.
1994
couldn't-
Fiesta,
Oh.
Nice.
I used to like
with no power steering.
No, that was that was proper driving. It's
Yeah.
like you're driving a tank.
when,
What do I mean?
when I was in sixth form, maybe 2010-11 era, my mate had a car that still had a cassette player, but he'd bought one of the cassettes with the aux wire, so you could play your
Oh,
phone
yeah.
through it until the tape would end. And I was like, cracking.
They were quite.
What a bit of technology.
They were quite clever then.
They're
When they
very-
first come out, they were real clever for it.
And
Do you
still
remember
used.
the tour van that we had that had the cassette player in it?
Yeah.
So all we had was this. I don't know where we got a collection of like these. It had like loads of 70s glam metal on it and stuff.
Really?
I can't remember where we got it from.
Did you find that in the van, or was it one of yours?
I think so. That was all we had.
Yeah.
There was no CD player, just a cassette player.
Maybe it was the last bands.
I was like, this was like 2015. We're like going to Belgium and like, this is like going back in time. I love it.
Sometimes lack of choice helps.
Yeah.
I would never have discovered Tunnel of Love, Bruce Springsteen's album. I would have classed it as 80s shite, but I listened to it decorating once on cassette and I was like, this is great.
There you go.
People decry this.
That was a good thing about tape trading. I discovered a lot of bands at tape trading.
Yeah.
Tape trading.
Yeah, like people would copy tapes and then share them with each other. They would like, listen to this. They would like write on it whatever it was. Like, I think that's how I discovered Pearl Jam. Somebody gave me 10 on a copied tape, handwritten all the songs on it. And I was
nice.
Like, boom.
If it works, it gets you into new stuff.
Exactly,
It's worth doing.
But that was early file sharing, I suppose.
Yeah.
But back then it was a lot more good intentions.
And you find those old stickers on albums. It's like, home recording is killing music with a skull and crossbones on it. And it's like, I'm sure.
And then you used to get on DVDs. Piracy is killing the cinema or whatever. That's the other thing. I don't think the cinema would ever not be there.
No.
You'd hope not. No, it's good they've dropped their prices, haven't they, a lot?
Yeah.
These nights you
gone
watch
up
any
though.
film, isn't it a
Gone up
£5
a
any
pound.
film?
It's gone up to
I think
£6
it
now.
was-
That's what they do, they wheel you in.
I know, they will you in. But it was better than...
I think it was £11.
Yeah.
£11, but that was for the VIP seats in
I
the middle of loads of space.
The big ones for the arms.
But it was an extra £1.
Because I lived
like,
in
that's not that bad.
Sheffield from 2013 to 18, and there was an independent called The Showroom, and because I was a student, you used to get in for £4.50,
Right.
and you got to see a lot more niche stuff. And I'd come back to Carlisle, and I'd be paying £11 to go and watch Star Wars, and I'm like, this is
you
hellish.
did get exposed to some
And then
stuff
as soon as
a
we moved
student.
back, The View makes it £4.99, so I was like,
Yeah.
it was meant to be.
They were trialling it though. I think The View, they trialled it all at $4.99 in different areas, seeing if they got more people in, and then just rolled it out everywhere. So
Yeah.
because I knew when I was working in Lancaster, they were doing it $4.99 there, but they weren't doing it in Carlisle. So
Well, no, £4.99 is now off peak, and then peak times it's £5.99, so it's still alright. £6
It's
quid's
not too
fine.
bad.
And if you've got your meerkats or whatever folk do, buy your
I've
insurance
got-
just to
They
get
still
go
do
watch
that?
films.
Yeah,
they do
I had
meerkats.
that.
So
you
get
got
your
all the
ti-
meerkats.
Went to most of them. I think I've got one that I've got.
coming to a Chazza
But
near.
going back to when file sharing came in, that was one thing where it did make, when I researched it, because obviously that was when the internet was becoming, like Google was becoming a good resource back then.
Ask
like
Jeeves was dying a death.
2001. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I
Ask
forgot about
Jeeves.
that one as well.
That was like a competitor for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Completely.
Google's algorithms were just too good. It was
Yeah.
the information was presented much
Well,
better,
that's
much
the
more
thing.
relevant.
I like Ecosia because of the ethics they have, but I use Ecosia to search for Google. That's half the thing I do. now.
Yeah.
I've got my ethics, but I know the
But anyway,
the slick system.
going back to when file sharing was, I was just like anybody. I was just downloading anything. Someone would suggest something, I'd go and download it to my MP3 player back in the day. But then when I was doing research, that was when I was playing guitar and I was thinking about getting in a band, and that's when it kind of occurred to me. I can't remember, I was a conversation with somebody or an interview on TV or something where it hit me, the impact that it would have. What if what's going to happen if we all just stop paying for music or stop paying for anything?
That's what I was saying.
No one's going to be able to make it.
So I was on this conversation the other day. My missus saying if everybody's downloading stuff and no one pays, they're going to stop making.
No one's going to be able to afford to make it.
Communist music, man. That's the way forward.
The thing is, nobody's going to, nobody's really going to make music for free, are they? So all these people think they're getting it, like we have the non-paying generation, think they're getting it eventually. They just stop making it as much. If that happened, you've got to have some sort of cost.
Yeah. I mean, it puts a lot of pressure, as we had, on bands, merchandise and touring. Like, you've just got to be out there all the time, hustling all the time. Yeah. Whereas your album kind of becomes inconsequential. It's kind of like you have to have a new product to go when you go out, because you can't just keep playing the same songs every time you go out. So it kind of like, well, we kind of have to do an album. Well, but because it gets so expensive, they have to. Some bands can't afford to do a professional recording.
A lot of them fund themselves now, don't they?
Yeah, and sometimes it can make good songs sound average, but they haven't got an option.
Well, as much as I love Roger Daltrey, I found him incredibly ignorant when he was talking about Brexit and how it would affect musicians playing live. And it's all right if you're in the Who, because you don't have to go through
if you're a
all the
level.
shite. But
if you're at a certain level, you just do something and you make money.
They just give you they'll give you an album every year. They'll let you do one, won't they? But Dom's saying.
But for older bands like that, they don't really care about the album. No, they just can go on. They make money by just doing a few gigs, doing a few stadiums.
Yeah. And them getting through into Europe and playing in different countries, it's not going to affect them because they're known. Mm-hmm. But up and coming bands are going to have to go through so much. We still
don't really know what's going to happen now that we've left. How long it's going to take for are you going to have passport checks at every border, and are you going to have to get paperwork? Like if you were doing like so similar to what we did, like Holland, Belgium, France, Germany, something like those kind of countries,
and all working visas,
paperwork for every. Whereas before you could just go through, no problem.
And how much cost is that going to incur?
It might stop bands being able to do it.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Who are we to argue with the people's voter?
Let's not go there.
No.
But it's just.
But no, it's going to be more. It's going to be more difficult. But I think people are always going to want to make music, so it's still going to be always, you know.
And I think like streaming services, like for bands like Spotify, as they get more and more paid subscribers and the more money, the money will. I mean, artists are always going to be bottom of the pile, which is weird because there wouldn't be a pile without them without the arts in the first place. But that is, they're going to get paid more and more as more and more people use it.
Yeah,
they're going to be able to pay. So eventually, I think it will. It's never going to replace what you used to get for physical album sales, but it'll come back up where it's noticeable. Because now, unless you're the bigger bands, you don't really. It's not really.
I mean, you
can leave it at 2 or 3 years, and you might get a check for like a couple £100.
Yeah,
which is fine. Same with bands when you register for PRS.
Yeah.
You know, you get royalty checks for your like live performances, but you just leave it for like half a year, and you get like a check. Oh, fair enough, fine.
Just got to do one amazing album.
Yeah.
Or one amazing song.
No, all that proves is you've just got to be out there.
Yeah.
If you do a shitload of gigs, a year or so down the line, back pay, you'll get some money for it, but it's not easy. It puts a lot of pressure on bands, and you know then you have to get a van. You have to be able to go places. You've got to be self-sufficient. In a way, it does make bands have more sort of survival, because you've got to be doing. You've got to have a business brain about you. You've got to have a passion for it. You can't just sort of half-ass it because you'll last 5 minutes. Yeah. So in a way, it's better that way because it separates. You know, only decent people who work hard are going to get anywhere.
Well, yeah.
But it didn't used to be that way. It used to be like you would never get a bunch of teenagers now working for a couple of years, saving some money, and just go to London with no job and no. You couldn't do that now. You just could not do that now. You'd have to have a plan. You'd have to have infrastructure and reserve finances. You just couldn't do it.
It's changed too much, isn't it? Basically,
it's just
changed. Do you miss it?
I don't miss the hard work. No. I miss the live shows and the banter on tour and that with the lads, but I don't miss. It was just constant, and it just got more and more as we went on. And like no time for like family occasions.
Just a grind.
Or all the lads' holidays was saved for band stuff. You weren't going on holidays. Girlfriends were getting pissed off. You know, when are we going to go and do something? Well, I was going to, but now this has come up.
You'll have to just come on tour with us.
Yeah,
basically.
That'll be our holiday. We're going to Exeter. Come with us. You can carry some stuff.
Right.
But that's the way it is now. But you guys are still.
No, we're still going, and we're still. You know, the company's almost been going 100 years next year.
100 years.
100 years next year. So
21.
21. Oh yeah, cool. It's a cool legacy because it's always been. It's never not been a vital part of the industry. I don't really see it. It's changed how vital it is, but it's never lost its vitality. I don't think, because there'll always be people who, because of the brand and its history.
That logo is almost just global. Like people know that phrase is Master's Voice, and that dog sat next to the gramophone.
I didn't know for years what HMV stood for. For years, I never even thought about it.
That's low. You're not the only one. Though. But it's one of them things.
It was when I saw the dog next to the gramophone, I was like, "What does that mean?" And then I looked it up, and I was like.
And then you go through the old charity shop, 78, and it's like,
it
says it on the thing.
It's just like it's just an iconic name. It's an iconic brand. You know, it's the branding as a whole.
It's good because that's what a lot of new companies these days need: something short and sweet that's easy to find. You can't. Everything's been taken now.
Yeah.
It's like try and write a song that uses a chord progression that hasn't been done before.
You just need a very, very clever graphic designer to make you the next big logo, you know.
So when people say, "Oh, there's no originality in music anymore," but how is that? There's been so much more. Like
it's only going to get
years
worse
ago,
going
you could
on.
say that, and people would go, "Oh, well, what about this? What about this?" But now, try and do something that can't be compared to something else.
Back onto Townsend again, when One Direction came out with that best song ever, and it sounds a bit like Barbara O'Reilly, and people said, "What do you think? Are you going to do it?" What was it? Why the fuck would I want to do that? You can't physically now come up with new chords and new. No. It's people have to use these.
Well, like you say, Marc, you're always going to be compared now to somebody else.
It's hard not to be. It's hard to do anything, not just music, but anything that hasn't been compared to something that's gone before you. So people have to try and think outside the box, but with mixed results, I suppose.
Well, we're still doing all right. We're still getting good music coming through, you know. So
I think the internet and like the tools that bands have to create their own music in their own way is what's probably going to do that for them.
You got to look. We were saying back when we were talking about being dinosaurs, where if you wanted to see a band, you had to actually see a poster on the wall to know about it. Now
or in a magazine or something.
Yeah, exactly. Now you see, you've got Facebook around, you've got Twitter. There's so many more. It's in your face.
You're connected to the band. The band puts out an announcement out about it. That's the first place it comes. It doesn't go to you won't find it on a website. It's like the band will just tell you
or something. Yeah, but it's in your face more now, so it's harder to miss stuff now. So in that respect, it is a lot better,
But it does seem like when we were younger, there was a lot less going on. Our minds were constantly being like,
you can't avoid it now, though, can you?
We've kind of adapted into that, but it's just never ending.
There's so much going on, you end up doing nothing. That's how I find it sometimes. I'm like,
you're trying to.
What do I prioritise?
Of all my million choices, what am I going to choose? And then
I've
got too much choice.
It's like their category names as well. We didn't talk about that when they come up with action-packed British comedies starring females. I'm like, who came up with that?
Like, how niche is this going?
What algorithm or text-to-speech came up with that?
Need some work.
Oh, yes.
I'm surprised we haven't done more with, like you said about phones. Just where we did like the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah.
Why haven't we done a challenge where just everybody stops using their phone for a year? For the money for a good cause.
Try an hour. That would be a task in itself.
Even an hour, it'd be something. But why haven't we tried that? That might be a good thing.
It's bad enough on Earth Day with the electricity.
This reminded me. There's a British drama on. I think it's on Now TV. It's on Sky called Cobra. Have you seen it?
Oh, not the film.
No, not the film.
It was the film.
I won't too many spoilers, but at the end of the day, it's like the concept of what happens if like something from outer space doesn't destroy us or anything, but it affects like what if we lost power for like a week, or we're either going to lose power for like it could be an hour, it could be a day, it could be 2 months.
It's like people talk about solar flares that could wipe out our technological abilities. Like, what would we do?
Like, how do you prepare for that? How do you?
Our country switches off when snow hits.
I know.
And the traffic, we don't know what to do.
It would just go like the London riots. If you had no power or nothing, everything would just go nuts,
Well, there was a scene where people were like having fires outside, and it was all merry, and I thought there's people drinking. I thought the longer there's no power, it's just gonna turn nasty at some point.
Yeah, of course it would.
People like start smashing
savages, be like Mad
and
Max.
Be like
get hungry.
Yeah,
be like that lovely scene in Chernobyl when everyone's just out looking at the fire of the facility and the ashes coming over.
You're all dead. All of you, you're all dead.
That was probably the best show of last year. That
was very good.
That was tough.
Horrible, obviously subject, but how graphic they made it and how obviously close
so
they did
realistic.
it really well. Yeah.
We all have to wait now because Russia are coming out with their own version blaming America, so we can look forward to that.
Oh, okay, right, okay.
Because they don't agree with any of the truth.
It's like Rocky IV.
They don't agree with the truth.
It's like propaganda with Rocky IV all over again.
Come on.
But that was, I think that's like important. It was tough to watch. Like I think I watched the first episode and I had to wait a couple of days before I could watch it.
No, it was because it's hard hitting. Because you watch it, most shows, and they're hard hitting. You're like, well, at least it wasn't real.
Yeah, but
and then you watch this one, and you're like,
yeah, this was real.
It fucking is real.
And there's detailed accounts of so they had a lot of stuff to go on to make it real. And I don't know. I think, but it also, just particularly for younger people, I think it's important that they see it. Yeah. There should be more stuff that brings historical events to life like that because it sticks in your mind. It makes it seem real. Yeah. Whereas, like, otherwise, it's just a story that you've heard in a book.
But they'd just watch it, be like, why didn't you just text him to get out of there? Why didn't he just tweet him saying, get out of that building? Or something like that. Did he not Google it before and know that was going to happen?
No, it was like when war films used to glorify the cause, and it's like, come on, let's everyone get behind this. And now, when I went to see Dunkirk a few years ago, I was in the cinema in Sheffield, and it was giving me palpitations. The scenes in the plane and the noise.
So real.
I was like, hell, this is great sound design, and it's just. But it was horrible because I was like, shit.
It makes you real. It starts you.
He did it really. How he did it was brilliant, though, with the sound and just having no sort of music at all. Was it? It was just full on, just the noise of the bombs. Wasn't it?
It was kind of like a film.
That's the ultimate realism,
sound,
yeah. Because music, if music comes in, that kind of subconsciously. Your mind just knows that this is not real.
Yeah. Just totally
Frankie Boyle says it best, though, doesn't he, when he does his war films? He's going, all these Americans go in there, but it made them feel sad. And it's like, no, you've gone there and blown everyone up and they come out the hero. But then that's films for you.
It is, yeah, but that I think they'll probably end up doing more stuff like Chernobyl just because of the impact that it had.
Oh, yeah.
Not the actual disaster, no.
No. The documentary.
It's called Sellafield.
Yeah, that'll be the next one.
That scares me, doesn't it? It makes you, when you watch it and then you're like, yeah, we got Sellafield nearby us.
Yeah, and also makes you realise they don't really know how to shut these things down properly.
Our government would probably be the same. They wouldn't probably say anything, would they?
Some scientists would come and tell them how bad it is, and they'd go, "No, it's fine."
Some people go, "Oh, we were told Brexit would fix it. That's why we voted for it. That's why everyone in Cumbria we voted for it."
So, have the prices of things changed in recent times?
They've got. I mean,
have you had to sort of adapt in that way? Do you think?
We're still, if you check, our prices are always still competitive. They're just as competitive as anywhere else online, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing.
But all bits like that is more, it's out of my control. So I don't get involved in anything.
No, you can't, can you?
You know, my old job is to make the music shop as inviting as it can be, and to make people want to shop there, and to make people enjoy coming in there, and people enjoy working there. That's my job.
And I think that's
all
what
the
you're
other
doing.
bits. I don't get frustrated. I try not to get frustrated with anything I can't affect. You know.
Yeah. And people always come in and compare us. Oh, well, it's cheaper on Amazon. But then I always say, well, at least we pay our tax and have like proper human rights for our employees.
Yeah.
Plus, it's not an experience.
No.
There's no experience there. It's just click.
So it is. It's more now about building that experience. You know. So that's why if you have local bands come in, you're building that experience. You're making people want to go in there.
Yeah.
It's cool to go in there again. You got a Dom doing records. You know.
Yeah.
Everyone
needs a Dom.
Don't
get Dom. Get Dom.
Yeah, so it's more that. So I just try not get it. So whenever I have people to come up to me and say, "Oh, do you think why HMV's still here?" and I'll be, "Well, the people have said that for the last 5 years, and we still are."
True.
So I said, all I think about is we're going to keep this journey. You know, that sounds sad, but keep this journey going. You know.
Whenever it was last year, or the year before, when they cut some stores and they went down, I think it's 100 they've got now. I think,
but then went back up again.
Yeah, they've gone back up, but I think they had the full picture. So if it was that bad, they would have just sacked it off. But they've obviously not done that for a reason, because they know that
all these record suppliers and all these companies, they all want us, they all need us as well. They need somewhere to sell these products as well, you know.
I think I don't think the demand will ever dip too low. I think there's always it'll level out, like I said, and you'll always have a job, because there'll always be people who collect stuff. Yeah. There's always people who appreciate the physical product. Yeah. Not just the older people that like to say it. There will be a younger generation who will get told about this from older people. They'll show it to them.
So like we're old men with beards telling them about the days of old on a hill.
But they're going to need. I think they need that.
The best example I can think of now.
But will they listen to us if it's not on Google? You know.
Yeah.
The K-pop thing. The amount of product we have in of that, and the kind of price they're at. And kids just come in and they save up and they want it, and they'll have the same thing 5 different times just because it might have one different track. And I'm like, I don't get it myself. I'm like, I can't. My brain just doesn't function when I think about it. But I'm like, they like that. Yeah. Because it failed for Taylor Swift. She brought out her last album and did a similar thing with the CD version. She brought out a couple of different versions, and I don't think it worked for her, but it works for the Korean pop stuff.
That's its own genre as a whole, though, isn't it? Now,
yeah,
it's massive. It's massive. That's one thing that's got. But like when it first came in, you thought, oh, it's maybe a small face. It's got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's
Taylor Swift needs
I did a tweet.
a term in one of their camps.
I did a tweet. I did a tweet on our one with for BTS, and it got 20,000 likes.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Just off one tweet, just for hashtagging BTS Army or something. So it just shows how many fans there are just coming about.
And he's done with his folk features, getting 1 like. But if I get a like off the artist, then I'm happy with that, because it
does that happen sometimes. Then?
Yeah, if it's the like smaller artists, I always want to tag them in, because they usually just appreciate being spoken about.
Yeah.
Even if it's a few weeks down the line, and they'll see that someone appreciates them.
What's the last big release that you can remember where it was like a big furore about people, like music-wise, not?
It's been a long time. Like since I've been there 16 years almost, and I've never really seen much of a queue for CDs. Maybe when Arctic Monkeys' album first came out, their first album, there was a massive buzz about that. 'Cause they had their single come out just before Christmas, so everyone was asking, but they held their album back to like January, February time, and that was a big one.
Well, our colleague Paulie always cites, if Adele brings something out, then that's a big thing.
Right. Consistent,
consistently big.
Our record, we always do a vinyl week, and we get queues for that because we have limited vinyl that you can only, and records that you can only get if you come to the day and you're there first thing.
Yeah.
So that still causes quite a big queue, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, have you been part of Record Store Day?
We're not allowed because we're a chain.
Oh, of course.
We'd like to be. That's why we do our own week, and we still get stuff for it.
Yeah.
We would love to be a part
What
of Record
constitutes
Store
a
Day.
chain these days? You have to have
More than one shop.
Is it more than
Yeah.
one?
Nationwide.
All these other, that's why the Record Store Day is more to support the independent, to keep the independent going. So in a way, yeah, I'd love to be a part of it, but in a way, I understand it. You know, it keeps them going. So you can't really say, oh no, we should be, because you know that could dampen them. You know, so you want, you know, like I said about competition. I love still going into independent record stores as well. So
there's an episode we did with the TNT Records in Barrow. Did you?
No, I didn't hear that.
It was a while ago now. Time flies so fast. But they set up an independent record store in Barrow 2 years ago, I think, and they got in on Record Store Day within about 6 months. They mainly just do vinyl, but they've done a really good job. One of the brothers, like, he just knows his vinyl inside and out, so he was like the brains behind it, and the other guy helped him business wise set it up, and they're still going now. Like today, doing better than ever.
Oh, that's good. Did they normally have bands in, didn't they, on Record Store Day as well? A lot of them, so.
I think they did this year, 2019. But I don't think they did the year before, but because they were just getting going. But like they were getting to the point where they couldn't get stuff in fast enough.
Well, no,
it's finding out what sells, what doesn't sell.
The queues I saw, I think they were from about 5 or 6 a.m. for the Vinyl Cafe in Carlisle when they did Record Store Day. I was like, oh, that's great.
So that makes me
40
feel
folk outside a record
and
shop.
happy about that. That's still out there. There's still that positive feeling. There's enough people who still think like that and appreciate the physical side of it. I don't think it'll go away.
No, not at all.
I don't think
it'll adapt.
I just think people, it's more, they say landlords and rents and rates, business rates across the country.
That's the other thing, yeah. So have they played ball at all, you know, like...
all landlords are playing ball on the whole, but, you know, I still don't think there's a lot of them that either realise the full situation or still maybe trying to be a bit greedy themselves with it. But I like I said, that's another thing that also is that I can't affect. So
no,
I don't like to.
But you would hope that they would know what was going on, so they're like, well, we'll just drop the rent down a little bit.
You know, because you don't see many new retailers coming into sites anymore.
No.
So you'd like to see if somebody's there. You'd like to think them go, wow, who else is going to go in there?
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, you think they hope they're thinking, well, we don't want to lose anybody else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to have a load of empty
stores.
Who wants that?
They think a lot of times these retailers are like calling their bluff or something. I think where they go, I can't afford this, and you can. So.
It's like the Hooper's department store opposite the cathedral in Carlisle. I've often thought, why don't the council, if they are in control of that, or someone who's there, why doesn't it become like a bazaar of independent businesses that have different sections and have like a hub? But no one seems to think that cleverly about these things.
There's some in Penrith, Devonshire Arcade.
Oh, yes.
Where still some of them are empty. So rather than, if they reduced their rates, they could have it all full.
Yeah.
Fair enough, everyone's paying less rates, but otherwise they keep it up and still have it half empty.
Yeah.
It just looks bad.
You can't control the business rates, so these landlords can't, can they? But they could.
They could probably get together, do something about it.
Yeah, probably.
Could get some
but you
agreement
think, like
going.
you were saying, them empty units. Why can't they just give someone a year's free rent?
Exactly.
They pay the rates or whatever on those bits just to get someone in.
And they usually say that's what kills. That's why a lot of businesses don't survive past 2 years or something, because they just can't get over that line because the business rates won't allow it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people with financial brains, but they don't have the creativity to think. You
need like a big pot of money to start off with to get past that point where you break even. I think people just get it inside, but they just can't get there. No, which is a shame, really.
Yeah. So it's harder now for a new business to start and do well than it ever has been.
It'd have to be something completely different, but that was in demand. It'd have to be.
But then you get in demand, and then because there's some businesses that start up and you've got a 2-year. Well, you did. I don't know if it's going to change your 2-year tax bracket where you paid a lower rate, and as soon as you become successful over that year, you priced out your own sodding business. So it's like,
which could be difficult because you get used to that bracket, and then all of a sudden it's going to go up. So that changes your margins.
And places have to close after 2 years, and there could be like.
Could have been like a really successful business, but that's the world we live in these days.
I think it's getting to the point now. Something's got to change, you know.
Yeah,
it's going to break a breaking point.
Something's
got to change.
Where a certain chain goes, or I don't know, something financial happens where people just can't ignore it anymore. Or the people at the top can't ignore it anymore. And someone's got to get together with somebody else and just make a change. Yeah. I think that's what's needed.
And I think that's what they think Brexit's going to do.
It could go either way.
We'll see.
No one knows. I don't know how anyone can be so passionate about it either way because no one knows.
No.
We've never been in this situation
Like
before.
I said, it's one of them things now. Like you can't affect it. You just got to kind of sit and see. And
People going, "Oh, we were better off beforehand." Yeah, but it's a bit different now. That we
I couldn't get folks celebrating the other day for the actual Brexit date.
Yeah.
When it doesn't come into effect till the 31st of December, when we'll cease trading as we are with Europe.
Was that you who put something up the other day about?
Oh yeah, people were letting off fireworks. I was at home and dead on 11 o'clock on the deadline day. People outside my house, it must have been about 30 metres away, letting off fireworks.
Was it not transfer deadline day?
yeah, we've signed Ronaldo.
And I'm thinking, right, I don't mind what your views are, whether you feel about it either way. But the fact that you're letting off fireworks to signify it is just, how boring is your life?
Did you shake your fist at them?
Yeah. Oh, you damn kids.
Yeah.
They probably weren't kids, they were probably maybe
Listening
older,
to that
older than me.
Listening to that hippity hop and
That's what going back to. Like, how can they be so sure it's going to be this is a good thing?
Yeah.
I don't like.
We just don't know.
But like Dom was just saying, I just find it weird how people were celebrating straight away. Like as soon as the vote come in, originally people were properly celebrating the next day, and like, well, he hasn't actually still gone through Parliament yet to be accepted.
There's still a long way to go.
Still a long way,
and we don't know how it's going to pan out.
Yeah.
But it could be the same because it could be better in some ways and worse in other ways.
Yeah.
So we might be no further along.
And it's hard to judge because it was a vote predicated on such issues that weren't real, as we came to find out in the ensuing months.
It was nearly 4 years ago when we had the referendum. So how much has changed since then?
I was at Glastonbury when that vote happened, and it was quite a depressing campsite that morning. But then I went to see Guy Garvey and it cheered us up a bit. That was nice.
Garvey cheered you up?
Yeah, he did. He was doing his solo album, so it was a bit more jazzy and upbeat. It wasn't as Hellboy.
The happiest I probably ever heard him was when he was on Peter Kay's car share.
Oh God! I forgot he was on car share. He was fixing a motorbike, wasn't he?
He was.
Guy Garvey's in Peter Kay's car share.
Right.
He plays like
randomly, I know him from somewhere.
But no.
But no, I think eventually something's going to have to change whether that happens.
I think people are going to need more help, like more leniency in terms of, like business rates would be a start, I suppose. But
if what people wanted is we want to be in control of our own rules and regulations, well, our systems are failing and they need to be reformed. So if we're in control of it,
and you also
let's get
think
changing.
How many more chains have to suffer before someone goes, well, we've got to do something about this. Yeah. Otherwise, we're not going to have high streets. Yeah. What if it wasn't? I don't know. Could you have only independents? Would they be able to fill the gap?
All the H's are going to go. Your high street, your healthcare,
your HMV.
Sometimes you gotta think with these conspiracy bits. So is that what they want?
Yeah. Is there some sort of plan?
Sometimes I kind of think, we have all these streaming services and Netflix and all that. Do they want us just to stay indoors?
Yeah, they're all.
Is that not the thing? If we all stay indoors, is it not cheap on the NHS? Is it not cheap on the police?
We're getting
lazier, Do you see what I mean, though?
Put on the fucking glasses, man. If you want your They Live reference.
What's that film with Bruce Willis where they all control robots of their own themselves?
Oh, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? I don't think I've
seen it, but
I was thinking that's surely the next stage where you're that lazy where you actually just control a version of yourself who goes to work.
That was a bad film. What was that called?
Yeah, it was bad. It was memorable.
Yeah, because his version has a weird wig.
Yeah, but his version's about 30 years younger than he is.
What was that called? I remember that coming.
I remember it. I don't think I've
seen it. I wish you had a phone in it where
it.
someone could phone in and tell. Who's got Google? That's where we need our phones at again now. Yeah. I'll go home and use that in Carter.
Oh God, that's going to be one of those things that's eating away at my brain now. I'm just going to be thinking.
I'm thinking replicas, but it's not that.
No, that's another film.
Maybe I can look it up.
Oh, here we go.
See if the signal holds.
So what we're going with? Bruce
Willis controls a robot.
2009.
Yeah, 2008.
Robot film.
Doesn't look like a bold scrotum.
Surrogates.
Yeah, that's the one.
Go.
Is that the one?
Surrogates.
That's the next.
That's wig.
That's
it's weird with hair.
There's his Führer ginger wig.
That's the next stage. You just control a version of yourself and you go out and you're saying that's again 20 years.
I do vaguely remember that film.
Yeah, it wasn't
2009.
It's not a film I'd say rush out and buy, but it's an interesting premise, though, isn't it?
6.3. That's better than I thought it was going to get.
It's an interesting idea, though, isn't it, Don?
A bit like In Time with Justin Timberlake.
Yes, I was just going to mention that.
Much better premise than film.
Mediocre in its execution, but the concept is.
Well, I'm sure the
great.
cinematography is done by Wes Anderson's cinematographer. Yeah. So I was like, it looks good.
It's more of a cult film that now.
Yeah. To a point, this is brilliant. Then by the end of it, I was like, they could have done that better.
Timberlake. I can't get past Timberlake.
No, like it's difficult.
He's
to
good.
take
He's good
serious.
in. He's good as Napster thingy.
Yeah,
in
the
social
network. Yeah, he was good in that.
Sean, whatever he's called.
Fanning, is it?
Something
Sean
like
Parker.
Yeah, something like that. Sean.
Do you know that Carlisle Cult Cinema Club yet?
The what?
The Carlisle Cult Cinema Club. There's a bloke who does that. He shows all cult films like that. He's showing True Romance in February 15th. Yeah, he does. There's this film club that's in town now. That's also at the Harrowby Theatre, and he shows a cult film once every other month now.
Right,
but it's class. If there's a bloke called PD, and he knows everything. I've never met anybody who knows more about films than he does.
All right.
But no, if you ever see that, have a look at it.
What's the guy called?
PD, and it's
PD.
called Carl. It's called Carlisle. He's called Paul Donaldson.
Right,
if you ever
PD.
get a chance, he'd be good. He used to have his own slot on the radio as well.
Okay.
On BBC Cumbria, but
What's his thing called?
Carlisle Cult Cinema Club.
Right.
You'll see. You'll have to have a look on Twitter. He's got it
I'll
on
look
there.
it up.
I was just noticing.
No, he'd never forgive me if I don't mention it. You see,
Where
so
are all
I'm
these
gonna-
from? These lovely bits of artwork.
A guy called Nathan Christie Baird did them.
Oh well, they're excellent.
Oh, this
He-
super bad one.
Yeah. This is not actually what he does. He does artwork and memes for podcasts.
Right.
So some of the stuff he's done has been used by like Joe Rogan and
nice.
Bert Kreischer and all those comedians. But he also everything that he does, this is all done on his phone with a stylus.
Oh wow, so
Yeah,
he's a bit.
all of it.
He's a bit Jim O'Painter, if you know that. Kind of-
Yeah.
See, there's a film that not many people heard of. Bone Tomahawk.
No, never heard of
Class.
it.
It's a western slash with hills of eyes, basically.
I know of it. This is the thing
Yeah.
with me. I know of films.
You've
That
not seen
I haven't.
that?
I haven't watched them yet. I know Kurt
I'll
Russell's in it.
lend it you.
There we go.
No, it's amazing.
It's brilliant. Like some films, I think he's trying to pick a moment in a film rather than obviously some of them are just obvious, but some of them are like a cult film or a big film, but like a moment in the film where only certain people would remember. Oh, I know which bit that is.
I know a bit of Serpico.
I think
He looks more. He looks
Mice
more
and
like
Men or something.
he looks more like Topol from Fiddler on the Roof. There.
Anyway, so I think we'll wrap it up soon, but just past the poster.
That's the first. They're both for the Battle of the Bands.
Can you put this camera on?
Would you like your little one as well?
So, Saturday the 18th of July at
The Harrowby
Harrowby
Theatre.
Theatre.
And we're still looking for bands to enter as well.
So, if bands want to apply,
Email harrowbytheatre1@outlook.com.
yeah.
And then
So, how does it work then? Is it just
we want 10 bands. If they get in touch with us and send us a link to their music, we'll have a listen, and then we'll send them an application form just to fill in.
So eventually you're just trying to handpick 10 bands to play on the day?
Yeah, 10 bands. The sooner they get in, the more chance they got to play in.
True.
As well, kind of thing. And then we've also got Lovely Eggs,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
who are doing a performance and a signing in the store on Saturday the 4th of April at 4:30. And they'd have their new albums coming out the day before, so it'd be good, that one.
Look at them doing a tour of HMVs.
I know they're also not just the HMVs, they're also doing the independent stores as well. They're doing Action Records in Preston, as far as I'm aware, and a few others, as far as I know. So they're doing a bit of both, which is good.
That'd be a good idea.
They're a nice band as well. I saw them at Psychfest in Manchester back in the summer, and they're brilliant.
That'd be a good idea for bands to do. A tour of just all the HMVs.
Yeah.
That'd be a good
Well, we had this other band called Religion of Tomorrow, who were a local band, and they did a Cumbrian tour, which was our HMV in Workington. It might have only been 2, but it was good. I called it the Great Cumbrian Tour. You know? But no, they were great as well, so I hope they'll apply for this Battle of the Bands as well.
Cool. Well, I think you're doing a great job. Obviously the reason you're here is because I saw what you were doing on social media, and I saw you were connecting with bands and just different ways of getting bands to get involved and keep the scene connected, because I think you're sort of one of the last vital links in the chain to keep the scene going, because there isn't anywhere there's venues to play, but outside of just playing normal venues, you're just something different that is, I think bands who wouldn't want to be involved with a brand like HMV.
Yeah.
So
We're just happy to give people a platform to do it, and if we can give someone a chance, we're happy to do it.
Yeah. I just
HMV's about music, and that's what we're trying to do.
Exactly. More people just need to know about it, which is part of the reason why I wanted to have you on. So I mean, I'll definitely have you on again.
Thank you very much.
So good luck. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.